We're back for part 2 of the Life is Strange True Colors LARP guide. In part 1 last time, we looked at the basic details. If you missed that, check that out first. Well, I guess you don't have to check it out first. You can check it out whenever you want. They're not dependent on each other, but check it out to make sure you haven't missed any of those easily missed details, because there's definitely plenty of them. But right now we're going to focus on the battles of the LARP, and I'm talking deep dive, not just, the basic battles, but what happens, what are the easily missed details of these battles, how do you do certain things, conversations that surround them, and even the infamous thing that I've kind of teased, what happens if you die before you meet up with the king? Is the LARP over? What happens? Can you even die? It's kind of easy to win. Well, you can die, and what happens is kind of cute. So let's start with the easiest battle of them all, your first battle with the direwolf. Just a warning, we're about to get super nerdy with this one. I'm going to talk about things that I don't know that most people would even think about testing or look into, but I just want to clarify that I absolutely love Life is Strange. It's amazing across the board. But my obsession is very much around deconstructing and reverse engineering code and figuring out logic behind things. So there's a lot of that going on in this video related to the battles and how they work. Back to the direwolf. So the direwolf battle is the only one that you don't have a lot of options to do. So I'm going to take this opportunity to kind of talk about some basic battle. They're pretty obvious what you would already know, but because it's a guide, we're going to kind of go into it in detail. So basic details of how these battles work. Alex and Ethan will always go first, and then the villain will go after, and it will switch back and around, standard style. Something important to know, the villain, whoever it is, will always attack the person that has the highest health. So if you have the highest health or an even amount, if Alex and Ethan have an even amount of health, Alex will always be the one that's attacked. If Ethan has a higher health point than Alex, Ethan will be the one attacked. And sometimes that means they are attacked twice in a row. So just keep that in mind. That's going to be really important later when we talk about that thing I teased about dying in battle. So Alex's attacks by default are untuned chord.
Untuned chord. 1 damage.
And then in magic, if you chose this in chapter 2, you might have
distortion field. 1 sound damage for the next 2 turns.
No damage at first, but then you get 1 damage for each subsequent turn.
My ears are ringing.
Or if you chose Healing Serenade, you'll have Healing Serenade here.
Healing Serenade. +1 health to us.
And also Stirring Hymn.
Stirring Hymn. Double Feanor's next attack.
Ethan's default abilities will be the same no matter what. So for attacks, he's going to have Stab.
2 damage.
And Burning Blade, which is 1 damage at first.
Burning Blade. 1 damage. And you're on fire for the next 2 turns.
So it's a total of 3 hit points there. And magic, he has a Shield of Courage, which protects the next attack that you do.
Shield of Courage.
And what's important to note about this is that if you do a bunch of Shield of Courages in a row, it's only protecting that next attack. It's not building upon each other. So you're not going to have protection from 10 attacks if you never use it again and you used it a bunch. It's just the next attack.
Protected by Shield of Courage.
2 damage.
Same thing for Distortion Field and the Burning Blade. Those have subsequent, attacks. If you use a whole bunch of those in a row, it's not going to double those subsequent attacks to compound off of each other. For the next 2 turns, there'll be 1 point.
My ears are ringing.
Again, we're spending a lot of time on the direwolf because there's just not much to say about this battle, so I'm laying all the groundwork here. So the direwolf's attacks, he seems to only have 2 attacks. There's one where he looks like he's throwing something.
2 damage.
And then the second one is scratching or clawing or something.
2 damage.
You also have the ability to find a scroll before you meet the direwolf. We talked about that in part 1. So technically you're able to use a healing scroll if you want to here. It's kind of a waste though, because at the very most he's gotten our health down to 6 and 8. It's just a total waste to use it right now, but technically you can.
Scroll of Healing. Feanor and I are restored to full health. All negative status effects removed.
Notice that Ethan and Alex's health bars are there. They're visible on the screen. You have 10 points each. The villains, though, is not visible, so you don't know how many health points they have. But because Alex has that ability right off the bat of Untuned Chord that's only 1 point, and then Ethan has a shield that just protects him, and he can use that as a turn and not attack. Going little by little, I was able to figure out that the direwolf has a total of 5 health points. So it's only a 5 bar. So you and Ethan both have 10, so a total of 20. And then the direwolf only has 5. I mean, that's why this is such a quick and easy battle, right? Now, I've talked about dying in battle. That's if both you and Ethan have 0 points. So if one person gets down to 0 points, that's easy to do.
No health left. Unconscious.
But if both of them do, that's what we're talking about here, like what happens.
Crap. I'm knocked out.
So that's not possible to do with the direwolf and his 5 health points, and here's why. Technically, Alex can use Stirring Him, and Ethan can use Shield, and so no hit points are coming across at all. Since it's their first battle, he's going to attack Alex first. Alex will go down to 8 points. Ethan will have 10. Then he's going to want to attack Ethan. But if Ethan keeps using his shield, he's never going to get him below Alex. So he's going to keep going after Ethan over and over and over again. He's going to keep having that shield up, and it's just going to go on and on forever in this case. So at some point, Ethan is going to have to let down that shield and actually do something with damage, because he's forced to do something for his turn. And he can either do a shield or give damage. The lowest amount of damage he could do is 2, but that's still a lot when the character only has 5 points. And then Alex has been doing Stirring Him the whole time. So then it doubles his attack. So he could do Burning Blade. So 2 points at first plus 2 more in subsequent turns. It's still 4 points. If Alex doesn't do Stirring Him, then she's also going to have to do a damage attack, right? She could do Healing Serenade at first for her first turn. But I mean, eventually it's going to get to a point where Ethan is going to have to put down that shield and fight with 5 points. It's just not possible. See, I told you we're going to get nerdy here, and there's more. There's a lot more. Once defeated, you can loot the direwolf, get your coin, get your special ability, all of that. And we're going to talk about that because Fire Blast is a really good spell that you get from the direwolf no matter what. It is 3 damage points for the enemy. And if you use Stirring Him, it will double it to 6. So that's pretty powerful. But it's also 1 damage to your ally, meaning Alex. So if you double it, that's 2 points for Alex. And that does compound for even the ally. So be careful when you do this.
Sorry, Ryan. It was self-defense.
You can annoy Ryan if you want. Ethan does not like that. He wants to, be serious.
How do we know for sure it's dead? Should we tickle it?
Stop it. Be serious.
You can also check his emotions here, and there are some different options that you'll get for his emotions. We're going to talk about that more in part 3 of this series. Now, also, when you walk away, so right after you finish the battle, you're going to get a MyBlock message that crafty Ryan posted something on MyBlock while you were sitting there staring at him. I don't know how he did that with his hands. He must be good with his hands or something. So you can look at it, and it's just so cute. So he howls, and then there's a hiss from the serpent. A little foreshadowing for later. Now, keep this post in mind. There's more that comes up with it, and it's definitely easily missed because you don't get a prompt that there's another post because it's just a comment based on this one. So you'll have to come back just on your own, volition to check it out. So we'll do that. Okay, remember in part 1 where you got a bell from Ducky. Getting the bell, yes. But what's really odd here is as you leave the Black Lantern from getting that bell, the direwolf seems to have had an awakening and is now alive again because it comments on this post here with another howl. And that only happens if you leave the Black Lantern the first time. And that can only happen after you defeat the direwolf. So this is a funny thing.
Beware of river monster.
Once you meet the serpent, you have an initial dialogue choice about your desire of, not wanting to fight him. And this seems innocent enough, but actually it affects some conversation that's easily missed too. The biggest one is if you say it's cute.
I mean, it's kind of cute, isn't it?
What are you talking about?
That actually gives you a love point toward Ryan, which we talk about ad nauseum in Ryan's love score video here. That affects your tarot card. It affects the scene on the roof and the end scene with Gabe's prediction. It can, all the love points affect a lot of different things in this game. Also talk about it some more a little bit in part 3 of this series. But it also leads, and this is what we're going to show right now, to a comment that Ethan says after your fight.
Did you actually think the snake was cute?
And you have 3 options here. You can say yes.
I actually did, yes.
You're weird.
Nuh-uh, you are.
Don't worry about it.
Let's move on from this, huh?
I feel like there's something you're not telling me.
Or just let the timer run out.
Are you in love with it? Are you going to marry a dead snake?
Thanor, I swear.
Now you think that's it just based on the cute comment, but no, if you actually picked not worth it instead.
We could save our energy for something scarier.
True.
And actually, if you have any scrolls in your inventory now, Alex will also add in this.
Save our scrolls, too.
True.
Ethan will say this after the battle.
That was a good point about saving our energy.
Yeah?
We should keep it in mind for the next monster, too.
And if you chose doesn't deserve it,
I feel bad for it. It's just living its life. Being a snake.
It eats people.
Ethan will make a totally different comment here.
You know how you said you felt bad for the snake?
Yeah?
Any of these monsters kill humans on a regular basis. We can't get sentimental.
Okay.
Okay, so rewinding back before the fight again, then you get to have another option here. If you found that bell, the bell will be here. So let's go ahead and use the bell first, and you put him to sleep with this cuteness.
Ophidian Chime. Snakes within hearing must fall asleep.
Pretend that's a low sound. Snake's ears are internal, so they can't hear.
Nice.
And by using that bell, Ethan will also say this after the battle.
That was so smart of you to use the bell.
It worked out, didn't it?
But if instead of the bell you chose calm, it'll go like this.
Hey, we're not here to hurt you. Oh well, it was worth a shot.
And if you just fight him,
Whatever. Let's just fight it.
Bring it on, snake meat.
and if you choose scare, it'll go like this.
Hey! Beat it!
Ugh.
Oh well, it was worth a shot.
If you decide not to put him to sleep and you want to fight the serpent, you also have the Fire Blast ability that you would have gotten from the direwolf.
Fire blast! 3 damage to you. 1 to her. Sorry.
Worth it.
He has what seems like 2 abilities. One appears to be unnamed. He just hisses at you and lunges at you.
2 damage.
And then the other one is spitting venom.
Spitting venom.
I'm poisoned.
And this one doesn't give any damage when he, attacks. But then you have 1 point of poison damage the entire rest of the battle.
Ow. Poison damage.
Every round, there's 1 point of poison damage. It doesn't go away unless you either win the battle or you use the healing scroll.
Scroll of healing. Thanor and I are restored to full health. All negative status effects removed.
So the first attack is always this unnamed hissing one. The second attack is always spitting venom. Then it seems like he only does the unnamed attack for eternity. I've tried so many times. I've done so many rounds in different combinations. And I think I've gone 15 rounds and he never does spitting venom or any other spells or skills after that or attacks, whatever. So it seems like he's just doing it the second time and that's it. Figured out that the serpent has 15 health points. So it's significantly different from the direwolf, and that gives you lots more options to play. To get exactly 15, if you want to get nerdy about it, you could do Stirring Him and Fire Blast for 6 points of damage to him, the ally. Doesn't really matter, 2 points to Alex. Then Stirring Him and Stab 2 times, so 4 points each. So you're at a total of 14 now. And then Untuned Chord for 1 point. That's exactly 15. You technically can find every single scroll in the game except for 2 of them, which are in the alley area, and you can only get to that after the Serpent Fight. So it's actually really hard to lose this battle. You can definitely die from this battle though, so I'm going to show you that in a bit. We're going to finish off the troll battle and then we'll come back to the death. To the death. Okay, so we already talked about what happens after the battle with the conversations. There's more NPC conversation that comes up here we'll talk about in part 4. But let's just kind of skip over all of that. I want you to check out MyBlock because right after the serpent battle, there'll be another post in response to the howling and the hissing, now from the troll. Does anyone know what a troll sounds like? And Steph, not Magpie Emporium, responds with, like a cross between Tom Waits, Lars Ulrich, and the Swedish Chef. The troll. Cool. I think I understood one of those references. Okay, for the troll, go into the Magpie Emporium. We can get a special item to help this battle called Troll Dust. More about that in part 1. Let's just grab it now so we can see all the different types of options for the fight. Also in part 1, we talked about this MyBlock Post after you purchase that Troll Dust. So as a refresher, I want you to look at this because it's going to change in a minute. So we have this conversation between, the Magpie Emporium, Steph really, and the troll who's like, yeah, you know what's good for you. You stop carrying this thing, right? Okay, so now you go to the troll battle, you do your thing.
Troll dust. Dusted trolls become very friendly. 1 pinch per troll.
No. Don't you dare. Oh, man. Visitors. I love visitors. Can I get you anything? A glass of marsh water, slug chips.
How about that jewel? On your belt.
Sure. Anything else?
We're on a quest. Anything you can do to help us out?
I could teach you to fight like me. Here you go.
That was quick.
And then if you want, you could have him say something nice to you. That's fine.
Why don't you say something nice about each of us?
You put a great deal of thoughtfulness and care into everything you do. And you see deep into the hearts of people. But you don't let that stop you from believing in them.
This troll is emo.
Yeah.
And then after all of that takes place, look at that MyBlock Post again, and you'll see that the troll, has a little something extra to say.
I'd like to apologize for my previous comment. I was wrong to threaten you for selling troll dust. I hope you've learned your lesson.
If you don't use the troll dust, that post remains as it is, unchanged from, when you originally purchased it. If you didn't purchase it at all, that whole kind of conversation thread won't be in there at all. And of course, you won't have the option to use it during your fight either. So another option in this battle is you can bribe him.
How about some gold in exchange for your ruby?
Oh. You've got my attention? How much?
Now, if you solve the jester's riddle, the jester would have told you how many coins you need to bribe him with. The answer's 4. Sorry, spoilers. You can figure that out on your own by just guessing, or you can solve the riddle. Pick the 4 coins. Conversation will go like this.
4 gold.
Deal. Pleasure doing business with you. Anything else?
And then you'll have the same options that you did with the dust. Now, if you didn't pick 4 coins and you wanted to bribe him, if you chose 1, 2, or 3, he's going to say this.
That's it? I'll smash you to bits.
Then it will automatically trigger the fight. And if you chose never mind, you'll say this.
Actually, scratch that idea.
I'll smash you to bits.
If you don't have any coins right now, though, that bribe option won't even show up. You can also choose threaten.
This is Thanor, the monster slayer. Hand over the soul jewel if you value your life.
I'll smash you to bits.
Or just fight him.
Let's take him.
I'll smash you to bits.
Definitely bribing or the dust is the way to go, especially if you don't want to use any scrolls and you already had hit points with the serpent. You're definitely gonna get unconscious pretty quickly between those battles. So if you use scrolls or anything like that, you can obviously regain your health.
Scroll of healing.
His attack spells are definitely more unique and they have more names. So throwing rock,
Throwing rock. 2 damage.
stunning punch.
Stunning punch.
Stunned.
So basically you're unable to go on your next turn. And then double slam.
Double slam.
2 hit points for each character at the same time happen. Also, he has a very specific pattern. He'll do throwing rock again, then stunning punch to stun someone, and then the double slam. Then throwing rock 2 times again, then double slam. So he kind of skips over the stun, but then it repeats. So it's like throwing rock, stunning punch, double slam. Throwing rock, double slam. Throwing rock, stunning punch, double slam. Throwing rock, double slam. This is like a good beat. I like it. Figured out that the troll also has 15 health points, so same as the serpent. To win, do the same thing that you did with the serpent, unless you want to get creative. A combination of stirring him and attacks to double things. So, for example, you could do stirring him and the fire blast, so 6 points. Then stirring him and stab for 4 points. Then you could use Alex's ability Horrid Disharmony for 3, assuming that you killed the serpent already and found it. Ethan, stab for 2, and then you're at your 15 points. That's only 3 attack rounds, and that's before he could even stun you with that stunning punch thing.
Yeah.
Okay, the 3 preliminary battles have been won. But what happens if you die with each of these? So I love this. As I said, with the direwolf, it was impossible to lose in that one because eventually Ethan would have to stop using the shield and attack, and with only 5 hit points, it's not possible. But with the troll and the serpent, it's different because some other types of attacks make it possible for him to still whittle down his health in other ways. Starting from full health, it is totally possible. I'm going to show you how to do it now, but it's hard. You got to be committed, all right? I told you I'm nerding out here. So you start out with Alex having more points or even amount of points. Again, we're doing full health here, so she's going to have an even amount of points. He'll always do a hiss at Alex. And then he'll do the spitting venom at Ethan.
Spitting venom.
So just make sure that Ethan doesn't use his shield until after that.
Ow. Poison damage.
Then the rest of the time, Alex can do stirring him, Ethan can shield up, and then little by little, that poison damage is going to whittle Ethan away. This is so morbid to be talking about. And then sometimes his points will drop below Alex's because of this. And then the serpent will do the hiss at Alex.
No health left. Unconscious.
And then he'll do the hiss at Ethan, and it will get blocked every time, but that poison will eventually whittle him down.
Crap. I'm knocked out.
If, though, you left the direwolf where kind of the most typical way where Alex has 8 points and Ethan has 10, that's going to be a problem because then the serpent is going to hit Ethan first. And that means Alex will get spitting venom. You don't want that.
I'm poisoned.
You can use a healing, scroll to make sure you're even. Either way, then you'll be able to die in this battle.
Thanor and I are restored to full health.
Okay, we're going to skip over what happens next. I'm going to tell you how to do this for the troll battle first, and then we'll come back to that. So for the troll battle, it's different. The key here is that the troll on that regular cadence, the 4th time, the 7th time, and then it repeats, does that double slam. So keep doing stirring him and shield, stirring him, shield the whole time, so many times. And then Alex will eventually get points off in the double slams. Once she is totally unconscious, seriously, this is really morbid.
No health left. Unconscious.
Then Ethan could just do stab the whole time. Ethan's first hit will likely have stirring him behind it, so it will double that first attack. But even with that 4 points, that's not enough. So Ethan is always going to lose there no matter what.
Crap. I'm knocked out.
Now, I showed you how to lose the battle, but now what happens if you do? Now, first off, if you have a healing scroll in your inventory, you're going to be like sitting here waiting for something to do and be like, is the game broken? But really, that's because you can choose your items and pick your healing scroll, and then you're back to full health again. You're going to have to do it all over. So don't have a healing scroll in your inventory if you want to try this out. Assuming you don't, then you get the most fabulous, stunning Charlotte to come in and save the day.
I am the forest spirit Netheria. As Thanor saved my life once, so I now repay him. Perish.
That's the troll scene. She also comes into the serpent scene too, says the exact same things, different backgrounds and stuff.
I am the forest spirit Netheria.
Also, she 100% restores your health. So if she comes in, she kills off the villain, your health is at 10.
Because of my aid, you will not learn any skills from this battle.
Note what she said, that because she had to help, you don't get special abilities. So if she comes in with a serpent, you don't have Horrid Disharmony, Alex's 3-pointer, the biggest one. And then if she comes to help with the troll, you don't have Strike of Wrath, the 3-pointer for Ethan. You know, you technically don't really want her to do that, but it's kind of a fun little twist here. That's if it's your first battle that you lost. But if you lost then again a second time, she just comes in and doesn't do the whole spiel. She just kind of says the ending.
Perish.
But we're not done with this. So after she leaves and the fight's, finished, if the first time she helped you with the serpent, you'll say,
Good thing Netheria showed up.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
So you saved her life?
Not just her, the whole forest.
Wow.
and if it was with the troll.
So who's Netheria? She said you saved her life?
Not just her, the whole forest.
Wow.
And if the second time she helps is with the serpent, you'll say,
Good thing Netheria showed up.
We keep needing help.
Hey, calling on the right friends is part of being a hero.
I guess.
And if the second time was with the troll, you'll say,
I don't even mind that we needed help again.
Hey, calling on the right friends is part of being a hero.
True.
But there's even more. When you found all the jewels, you go back to the park. When Ethan sees Charlotte, if she hasn't helped at all, he's going to say this.
Oh my God. It's my mom.
But if she did help you either one or both times, then Ethan will say this.
Oh my God. My mom again.
Okay, the final battles. It could be Stormwriter or Cravius, depending on your character sheet and what your choices were in Chapter 2. You can't access your character sheet anymore as soon as the final battles start because it's Ethan's emotional experience and there's no character sheet. It's like, you know, the way it really feels. It's just who you are as a character. You've become these characters. Wouldn't it be nice to have character sheets in life? Also, notice the hit points, instead of being 10, you now have 1,000. The villain shows a health bar, but it doesn't show numbers associated with it. And using the same logic that I did with the others, it looks to be, 2,000 in comparison to yours, or 20 points. To win, it's still pretty easy, especially if you have the scrolls. My absolute favorite way to play is this. Get 3 scrolls of advantage and nothing else. You really don't need anything else. And then you use your scroll of advantage, and then you do stirring him and fire damage. So that's 6.
Sorry.
Worth it.
Then use your another advantage scroll. So that's 2 scrolls so far. Stirring him and strike, another 6 points. Scroll of advantage again. Horrid Disharmony for 3 points. Stab for 2 points. You're on your last advantage, because advantage gives you 1 more turn. So even without using the scroll, you have 1 more turn. And then stirring him and stab for 4 points. That's only 4 rounds, and he never touches you. However you win, here is what they both look like. And here's what Alex says after if you won the battle.
We did it!
If you do want to see more action and actually get hit with something, Stormwriter has 4 attacks. Cravius has almost the identical attacks, just a different name and different. It looks different. So the first one is sort of an unnamed attack, either lightning for Stormwriter, and it's kind of like a lightning ball, or a fireball for Cravius. that's somewhere between 200 and 300 points. It's closer to the 300 range. Then they both have a stun attack. So for Stormwither, that's
Electric Cage!
No!
for Cravius, it's the Ring of Fire.
Ring of Fire!
Crap!
And that stuns Alex or Ethan, whoever, you know, it was thrown at, so they can't use a turn next. Then we have, just like the troll, another double hit situation.
Unholy lightning storm! Death to all who defy me!
And for Cravius, it's called the Fury of Hell.
I summon the fury of hell! Death to all who defy me!
Both are, you know, approximately 200 each. So Ethan and Alex get 200 hit points there. And lastly, there is an attack here for both of them that does subsequent damage.
A ravenous flame!
And for Cravius, it's Volcanic Flame.
Volcanic flame! You're now on fire!
They both give burn damage. On the attack, there's no hit points, but subsequent attacks, approximately 100 points of continual burn damage in addition to any other fight he's doing.
Ow! Taking fire damage!
You'll notice that the points are not an even amount of points. So something that you would think would be worth 2, you know, would be 200. It isn't. But what's also interesting is that same attack seems to be different points depending on when you got attacked or who it is with. So I think it works more on a percentage system. I'm not really sure. I wanted to go down that road and figure it out. And then I was like, who actually needs to know this? I don't need to know this. I was convincing myself that I didn't need to know this because I really wanted to figure it out. Stop myself. I'm proud of myself.
We did it!
And these attacks always go in the same order. So first, there's the unnamed kind of ball attack. Then there's the stun. And then there's the double damage one. And then the ball again. Then on the 5th round is the continual fire or burn damage.
You're now on fire!
Okay, if you want to go for a losing battle, the key here is to make sure that Ethan is going to be the one attacked on that 5th time. So you can use stirring him and the shield, assuming you have full health or they're even, and Alex goes first. We have him attacking Alex with the ball of lightning or fire. So now Alex is lower than Ethan. Ethan gets the attack thrown at him, but he still is using the shield. And now Ethan is going to be the one that he goes for until he is lower than Alex. Remember, there is the double damage one. So even if Ethan has his shield up, he won't get that damage, but Alex will. He'll stay the same. That 4th turn, Ethan can still do the shield at this point, and it will block that fireball or, you know, electricity ball. So on the 5th one, which is the important one, is that we want him to go after Ethan. He will go after him with that burn. But if he had the shield up, he's not going to hit him. So do any other attack or whatever that you have, you know, probably stick to a lower one. So you're not protected. And at that point, he'll throw the subsequent burning attacks.
A ravenous flame! You're now on fire!
Then from here, it just works itself out. Ethan will gradually be hit by that burn damage 1 point at a time.
Taking fire damage!
And then you can keep doing stirring him and shield. It won't matter because that burn attack will still go through that shield. And then Alex will gradually get whittled down as well when those double hit attacks come in. You might notice sometimes if their health is very close and Ethan has a negative status effect like this burn damage, that the villain will sometimes go after Alex instead of Ethan, even if Ethan's points are higher. This happens with the Serpent too sometimes, I've noticed. It seems like it's related to the subsequent attacks. I'm not totally sure because it wasn't consistent for me. But it shouldn't matter if this does happen to you since Ethan's already being hit each round anyway for this last villain.
Crap. I'm knocked out.
If you both go unconscious this time, this is what happens.
Pathetic! It's time to say goodbye. Oh! How dare you! This is far from over. I will return.
And here's what Alex is after that's a little different.
Dude, you saved me.
I can't believe what just happened.
Okay, that's it for part 2. What'd you think? Had you seen that part with Charlotte before? I'm guessing most of you haven't, but if you have, let me know in the comments. I'm super curious what you've seen. And I have a huge favor to ask you. If you enjoyed this, please like the video. It really, really helps get the word out about this channel and help support the things that we're doing here. So if you had fun or learned something or want to share it with somebody, that would be a tremendous help and I would really appreciate it. And I'll see you in part 3 where we're going to talk about the infamous wink, but also a lot of different choices and consequences that can happen from choices in chapter 1 to, and a little bit 3. I hope this helps. Bye.